Jumping into exercise slip 3-2, our focus for this lesson was to be able to zoom in on number lines to find decimals between decimals. Should look familiar. We've done this with fractions as well to find fractions between fractions. But with decimals, we're going to jump in and make sure we understand how they work a little bit better. All right, so on the first number line, I see I have a 2 and a 3. And it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ticks in between there. A lot of us know that if we want 10 things, we'll have 9 ticks in between there to get the numbers that fit in between here. Okay, so what I notice is what's 10 times smaller than the ones column, because I'm in the ones column, would move us to the tenths column. And 10 tenths make 1. So if I can figure out these 10 tenths that keep moving up, I end up going 1 higher up to 3. So I know the tenths are right after the decimal. So this would be 2.1. I always have to start with 2. 2.2, so 2 and 2 tenths. So you guys are filling these out with me. 2 and 3 tenths. 2 and 4 tenths. 2 and 5 tenths. We know that's 2.5, right? 5 tenths is half, so I'm halfway to 3. 2 and 6 tenths. 2 and 7 tenths. 2 and 8 tenths. 2 and 9 tenths. And then if you thought and said 2 and 10 tenths, well, that's actually 3, right? Because 10 tenths makes 1 more. So it makes sense, and I know that I did it right. Okay? So now we're going to zoom in a little bit more. When I look at this number line, if you look here, this is 2.3. So I'm going to blow it up bigger. I'm going to say this is 2.3 now, and I'm going to make this area larger, and this is 2.4. I'm trying to find 10 things now, excuse me, 9 in this case, not 10, because that come between 2.3 and 2.4. So our strategy here, guys, I know I can't get to 2.4 until I get to here. So all of these have to start with 2.3. All right, and then we're going to actually go out to the hundreds column now. So now we got a 2.3 and then 1, because this would be like 2.30, right? Okay, 2.31. So this has to be 2.32 or 32 hundredths. 2.33, 2.34. And I see I'm on path. I'm figuring it out right, because here is 2 and 35 hundredths, so this must be 2 and 36 hundredths. And again, notice they all start with 3, because if once I get to 2.4, then that means it's going to be bigger than 2.3 something. So you can never in here go to 2.4. We're always changing the hundredths column here. 2.37, 2.38, and then 2.39. Next would be 2.40 or 2.4. We don't need that 0 there. So 2 and 4 tenths. All of these are smaller than 2 and 4 tenths. Even though that 39 looks bigger, remember 39 hundredths is not as much as 4 tenths, because I can put a 0 after here, and that'd be 40 hundredths, which is bigger than 39 hundredths by 1/100th. All right, so again, understanding how decimals work there. So they all started with 2.3. See the pattern there. Now we're going to expand and even go further into thousandths. So now I need to find some things between 2.36 and 2.37. All right, so if I follow the same pattern, I cannot let my hundredths column get to a 7. All of these are less than that. So they all have to start with 2.36. And then we're just going to add 100 or a thousandth to it, because now we're out to that thousandth column. So this would be 2.361, 2.362. I know I'm on the right track. 2.363, always 2.36. Then add an extra thousandth there. So this would be 2.364, 2.365. I'm on track here. 2.366, 2.367, 2.368. 2.369. Then after 9, now jump up to 2.37 or 2.370. Okay, if you're looking at it that way. So again, we should be able to zoom in on number lines. And now I know all of these numbers right here fall between 2.36 and 2.37. And guys, we know this is infinite. I could keep zooming in between these, and next time I go out to the 10,000ths column, and it just gets smaller and smaller, and that's infinite. Okay, so the first thing is we should be able to zoom in to find a bunch of numbers in between certain places and certain numbers, and then be able to label all these number lines. Okay, so worked really hard on that, trying to understand this in this lesson. So again, this is what we're supposed to learn as the first part of our lesson, and we're going to continue with this here in a second. I'll pause the video for you guys that are watching now, or if you're watching at home, pause it to make sure you have all of these written. All right, so we're going to scroll now that you guys have them copied. And we're going to look at the second part and see if we can do this now without the number lines a little bit. Okay, so we're supposed to find numbers between numbers now. Okay, find 3 numbers between each of the decimal pairs. Okay, and if we did the pattern, we can learn from that pattern, or we could draw a picture again and zoom in if we needed to. What we learned in the up top on problem number 1 is if I want something between 2.1 and 2.2, they all have to start with 2.1. I can't ever start with 2.2 because then anything I add would make it bigger than that. I want it between it. Now I can't just put 2.1 because that's not between it. That's exactly the same as 2.1. So guys, I can add anything I want after it. I could put 2.11. I could make it simple, 2.12. As long as it starts with 2.1, it's always smaller than 2.2 because it doesn't matter. These get so small when I keep adding things to this that it's never going to be bigger. Until I get 10 of these and makes one more of these to get it to a 2, it doesn't matter. As long as it starts with 2.1, it falls in between there. So I could do 2.1999. That's still in between 2.1 and 2.2 because I'm not to 2.2 yet. It's still 2.1 something. It looks really big, but remember, these columns all get 10 times smaller. So it does not matter. I could put 9s forever, and it would still be smaller than 2.2. All right, so again, there's 3 different samples. They all start with 2.1. You're right. Okay, and if I zoomed in on a number line, we would see that like we did up above. We're just going to kind of do it more the mental way now and understanding how decimals work. So this time I'm trying to find numbers between 2.34 and 2.35. Again, for my learnings, we should know that they all have to start with 2.34. Okay, now I need a little bit bigger than that. So if I add a 1, it's now a little bit bigger than that. But it's not to 2.35 yet. So again, start with 2.34. Let's just put a 2 this time. All right, 2.349. 2.348621. It doesn't matter. Again, any of these, as long as they start with 2.34, there's an infinite answers that you could put in there that would fall between there. And if you understand that part, guys, that's exactly where you need to be on this I can statement. Okay, so same thing now. Let's find the numbers that are between 2.361, or 2 and 361 thousandths, and 2 and 362 thousandths. Again, we should know we're looking for all the ones that start with 2.361. Let's see if we can do it out to the 10 thousandths column now. Same strategy though. 2.360. Well, that's less than 2.361. That doesn't fall between it. 2.36182. Yep, that falls between it. It's 3.6236. Yep, so that works. This starts with 2.361, and then I add a little more. It does not get to 2.362, so I know it's between them. 2.3625. That's bigger than 2.362. Okay, added 5 10,000ths to that if you want to know that column again. So that would not be in between it. This also is 2.362 and a little bigger, so it does not fall between there. And this one's 2.361, which is bigger than that because I added a little more to it, but it's not 2.362. So I know those are my 3 correct answers. And again, if that's the kind of thinking you're having when you're doing this, that's right where you need to be.